and just had some trouble filming there.
Howdy, folks. Come on down.
Let's get a jump, man.
Yes.
It was real hard at the bottom, and I was like, oh my god, either I'm gonna get pissed off this and land like 5 kinds of assways, or like I'm gonna step out of this shit. And I stepped out and I just went down and like rolled on my arm and shit. For the big party, parents throw the big party we go back to Missouri for.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
That's
but,
wild.
like, yeah, dude, they're major friends, old hippies, just hanging out.
That's hilarious.
Always having a good time. Yeah, that's how we know each other.
Damn.
Yeah.
But you grew up in Missouri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. But not in the same town?
No. It was way far apart, but it was both pretty isolated.
Well, he had the interstate. I didn't have that.
Band you're in, where you're from, and where you live now.
My name's Sanford Justus Lacewell. I'm from Eminence, Missouri. It's a town in the Ozarks in southern Missouri. And I live now in Denver, Colorado, and I'm in the band Rossosaurus.
Why don't you tell me about the first band or the first bands that you were in?
Alright, the very first band I was in was called Red 40. I was in a band with Kelly Betts and Ricky. I don't know his last name. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was Red 40 because Kelly was allergic to Red 40, which we thought was hilarious, and it fit the punk formula with like no short word and a couple numbers. But yeah, that was my first band I was ever in, and then I moved to Colombia, and I moved there, and I was like super into punk ska, and I wanted to start a punk ska band. That's what I was wanting to do. It's a Columbia school at Mizzou, punk ska, and it didn't really work out like that because I just really started liking reggae a whole lot, and I started writing songs just out of the blue, and it turned into a reggae type of thing, and I got together a band out there called the Get Down Underground, which is really good. Featured Patrick Smith and Wet Bandits, and that was a lot of fun. We like got to play like. Moved up through the tiers of Columbia and played the bigger bar and the bigger bar, and then we got a little following and people come out and party out the shows, and then we come out here, and I came out here to do music. Denver's an awesome scene for like the reggae, American reggae style stuff that I write on guitar, and came out here and got together with Eric off of Craigslist, and he was like, hey, I got this identical twin brother that can totally play the bass.
My name's Mark Saccone, and I'm Eric Saccone. We got our first electric guitar when we were 11, and started playing that exclusively pretty soon after that. Got a bass pretty soon after that. And our little brother got a drum set, so we had a little family band going.
Describe a house show and then describe a venue show.
Alright, so the house show, like you go there at like 4 p.m., you know, like the people there that live there like hanging out, they're like, oh, this is where you're playing, you know, they're like, hey, you need anything, come get me, and they go up to their room and stuff, and like you set up, and then like the keg shows up, and you have a couple keg beers, and then people start trickling in, and it's just like a more rowdier, like the dole roar, you know. And when you get there, the crowd is like right there, and you're not playing on a stage, you're playing on the level with the crowd. It'd be like right here, and then the crowd's right here, like on the edge of your mic stand, so it's much more intimate, you know, and you can hear when they react to your music, like you're playing something and like Eric takes a ripping solo and the crowd's just like, whoa, and you can see him dancing harder, like right there, right in front of you.
Like, you know, you're in a basement, you're a lot more kind of reserved because it's just 3 people, and even in practice with the band, you know, it's a lot different. Once we get on stage, it's like, you know,
yeah, balls to the wall.
Yeah, it's just balls to the wall. Yeah, like, you know, audience is intense, and our crowd now, they're really, you know, it's cool, they're really into it, and you know, we peak a lot of jams, like a lot of, you know, rock and roll choruses and jams that get like really out there, and you know, just you're feeding off that, like, you know, I don't, when I'm practicing, you know, I'm not really jumping up around, and, yeah, it's just like the crowd instantly just gives you all this energy.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
So then you contrast that with a gig show, where like you show up at the bar at like 7, you call them up and they're like, show up at 7. You show up there and they there's a sound guy there and he has cables laid out and stuff, and you put together your instruments, and you have to decide every time like where you're gonna have everybody set up, because stages are weird, you know. Some of them are like rectangles, some of them are big squares, some of them are round, some of them are in a corner. But like, so you find out where all your stuff's going, and you get everything set up with your sound guy, and you run through a sound check, and then you like sit and you hang out for like couple hours and like drink a beer, and then you start up when they tell you to start up at like 10:30, and yeah, so it's much more formal, it's much more structured, and the crowd's like, you're elevated up above them a little bit, and there's lights in your eyes, you can't really see them, and like they're down there. You can still see them killing it when you're killing it, hopefully, but it's not as intimate as it is. It's house parties are quite fun too because you usually bring your own sound equipment and you can turn it up as loud as you want.
Could you talk about the diversity of music in Colombia? Because to me it seems like I see different genres supporting each other just from being friends. Like, do you see that too? Or
I think it's just that when you're in college, you know, you see the kids in class that you know share your ideals and you get together and hang out with them, you know. So it's very much like that in the music scene. If you guys are hanging out together and, you know, like chilling at each other's apartments and stuff, it doesn't really matter what kind of music you're into. You're all into like throwing a party, you know. You all like partying. So, I mean, there's really no blurry lines there. I mean, like, you don't usually like hang out with like the mainstream hip hop kids or, you know, like get together with like the metalheads, but you go to that show because some of your friends were, or like you have them come to your show because they know you, or it's a different scene in college because you have so much access to so many people, especially now with Facebook, that you see every day on campus. That there's such a wide like net of people you're connected with that you can get the word out to immediately. I used to just roll around on campus on my longboard screaming free reggae show, you know, like, and people would see me and be like, yo, what's up, man? I gotta come to that, you know. So it's Colombia is a special case because Mizzou, man, you can't beat it. It was awesome to be able to connect with that many people on such a short range basis. Play bets. Been with this kid since we've been shitting diapers.